Hello and good morning, everyone. In this lecture, we are going to cover transitional devices. Whenever we talk about transitional devices, they are integral part of reading and writing. They make you a good reader by identifying the potential transitional devices in a piece of text to figure out the transition used by the writer. On the other hand, they also make you a good writer in the form of expertise which you gain as a result of transitional devices knowledge, which will help you write a good academic essay or any piece of writing that you are going to write. Okay, now let's come to the definition of transitional devices. What are transitional devices? So basically, transitional devices are words or phrases that act as a bridge to connect ideas, sentences, and paragraphs smoothly. So, as you see from the definition, they act like a bridge, which function to bridge or to connect sentences in most of the cases, sometimes phrases and sometimes even words. Now, what is the importance of transitional devices? They guide the reader, as I said in the beginning of the lecture, that they make one a good reader because the reader which has the knowledge of transitional devices can easily figure out the connection and coherence that is used in the text. Similarly, they creates transitional devices create coherence. Now, what is coherence? Is basically the unity of ideas and thoughts in a piece of text. So, transitional devices are tools to create coherence. These are some of the examples of transitional devices which can be traced in any piece of writing. Before going into examples, I'd like to tell you about the different functions of transitional devices. Transitional devices can be used to add a new thought to a previous thought in the form of exemplifying, in the form of exaggerating event. Contrast can be used to produce already a contrary idea or paradoxical idea to the already existing idea. Result is used to show the consequence. Examples can be used to illustrate anything furthermore. Emphasis can be used to emphasize a particular point, to intensify a particular concept. And conclusion can be used as the word is itself explanatory, can be used to explicit conclusions. Now, when it comes to addition, there are multiple examples. For example, and can be used to add something to a sentence or to a word. Moreover, can also be used as a device of transition. Similarly, can also be used as a transition device. And likewise, when it comes to contrast, it is used for creating a paradoxical idea to the idea that already exists. Okay. For example, you have the word however. If you say Aslam is a good student, however, he makes noise all the time. So basically, you are using however to create a contrast to the already existing positive statement by creating an altogether negative statement. Now, result. What is the function of a result? Result transitional devices are basically used to show results or the consequence. For example, you state some reasons and you say, as a result, this happened. Okay, you can also say because and result. Transitional devices for examples. You have different words, for example, such as like, for instance, for example, in fact, notably, in all of these words. For example, there are different multilingual countries in this world. For example, Pakistan and India. So you are using for example as a transitional device of example. Next is emphasis. Emphasis means when you emphasize something, you intensify something. Indeed, this task is important. So in this sentence, you are emphasizing the very task. And conclusion, you have multiple words in order to start a conclusion. For example, you say conclusively, in conclusion, in a nutshell, to summarize. Okay. Now let's look at this paragraph. which is basically about transitional devices, and it also incorporates transitional devices at the same time. Writing clearly and effectively requires smooth connections between ideas. Therefore, so you have the first transitional devices. Therefore, as a result, okay, transitional devices play a crucial role in guiding the teacher through the text. For example, another transitional device, for example, when adding information, words like furthermore, moreover, and in addition, these are the examples. Okay, help to build on the previous points seamlessly. However, now there is a contrast here in the shape of however. When contrasting ideas, transitions such as on the other hand, nevertheless, and all those signal a shift in perspective. Okay, and consequently, the reader can easily follow the writer's reasoning. And so, if you look at this paragraph furthermore, because meanwhile, you can see the usage of transitional devices. So, to conclude on topic, we discussed transitional devices and their importance in writing and reading. As a reader, when you have the knowledge of transitional devices, you can easily navigate a piece of text. And as a writer, when you have the knowledge of transitional devices, you can write a very efficient text and proficient text by incorporating those transitional devices. This was all about transitional devices. Thank you.